President Trump is pressing his Justice Department to pay him about $230 million as a settlement tied to two major federal investigations, sources familiar with the matter have confirmed. The claims in question relate first to the probe into his 2016 campaign's contacts with Russia, and secondly to the document search at Mar-a-Lago. According to those sources, the settlement demands were first filed in 2023 and 2024. These are administrative claims submitted to the Justice Department, not yet a public lawsuit, and reflect the president's effort to extract compensation for investigations he argues were politically motivated. One source describes the push as two-pronged, one avenue covering the Russian influence investigation, the other the Mar-a-Lago classified documents case. Although the investigations occurred under the Biden administration and during Trump's first term, the settlement demands remain outstanding under his current presidency. During a recent appearance in the Oval Office, Trump remarked on the matter, "I have a lawsuit that was doing very well. And when I became president, I said, I'm suing myself. I don't know. How do you settle the lawsuit?" He added, "I'll say, give me X dollars, and I don't know what to do with the lawsuit. It's a great lawsuit, and now I won. It looks bad. I'm suing myself, so I don't know." Asked about the amount, he said, "All I know is that they would owe me a lot of money, but I'm not looking for money. I'd give it to charity or something. I would give it to charity. Any money, the potential payout has stirred significant ethical and procedural questions. Chief among them is the fact that the senior DOJ officials who would be responsible for approving such a settlement are former Trump attorneys. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, for example, previously represented Trump in the Mar-a-Lago case. The Associate Attorney General Stanley Woodward likewise represented individuals in that investigation. One Justice Department spokesperson explained, "In any circumstance, all officials at the Department of Justice follow the guidance of career ethics officials." From the president's vantage point, the public focus right now is on finalizing an enormous settlement. Privately and publicly, he has asserted the DOJ owes him compensation. One aide put it simply, he wants the money and then will decide what to do with it. The backdrop, a fraught relationship between the president and his government's prosecutorial arm. Meanwhile, during a question and answer session in his office, the president was asked about unrelated foreign policy topics. On Ukraine and Russia, he said, "It's a vicious war. It doesn't really affect us. We sell equipment to them. We sell equipment to NATO, and NATO gives it to Ukraine. But I don't think it's going to end up in World War II. That was really out of control. So now I think Putin wants it to end. I think it's going to end." On talks with Senate leadership about an impending government shutdown, he said he would meet with them only if they let the country open. "I will only meet if they let the country open. The people want to go back to work." When asked about the New York mayoral race and whether he would call a candidate to drop out, he replied, "I don't know that I want to get involved. It's really a question of would I rather have a Democrat or a communist? I would rather have a Democrat than a communist." On his own construction efforts at the White House, he criticized the planned presidential library of his predecessor. "It's not too pretty. They ran out of money. They're hundreds of millions of dollars over budget." Finally, on trade policy in China, he asserted, as of November 1st, China will have about 155% tariff put on it. "I want to be nice to China, but China's been very rough with us over the years. And we're getting hundreds of billions, even trillions of dollars paid into the United States." And returning to the settlement demand, I don't know what the numbers, I don't even talk to them about it. All I know is that they would owe me a lot of money, but I'm not looking for money. I'd give it to charity or something. But look what they did. They rigged the election. This sweeping array of issues, from the settlement demand to foreign wars, trade wars, domestic politics, and internal government standoffs, underscores the complex interplay between the presidency and the Justice Department under the current administration. As of now, no settlement has been publicly confirmed. What remains clear to insiders is that the settlement request itself is moving through channels inside the DOJ, and that the key decision makers are individuals who once sat across the courtroom from the president. At its core, the settlement effort raises novel questions about a president seeking compensation from the same department he leads, and the oversight mechanisms in place to ensure fairness and avoid conflicts when former defense attorneys now hold departmental authority. The outcome of this episode may reshape long-standing boundaries between executive power, prosecutorial independence, and accountability.